What a year, what a year, what a year. 2024, but bought some good, some bad, some uglies, all right? So in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you those top 24 simplicity patterns that majority of us sewists went out and purchased, whether it's in paper pattern or PDF pattern, but most of us went out and purchased those top 24 patterns that are simplicity. So if that's some content you would like to see, please continue to watch. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Rochelle from Rochelle.Handmade.Designs. In this video, I'm gonna be sharing those 24 patterns that are simplicity that I figured that a lot of us sewists picked up for 2024. Now, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of patterns that just did not make the cut. Some of them were just kind of like, yeah. And then some of them was like, okay, I can see that. But a lot of them were ones that I kept on the shelf this year. So I'm just going to be running down to you guys the top 24 patterns that I seen a lot of the sewists in the sewing community, because I pay attention to y'all. Y'all don't think that I be paying attention, but these pattern hauls that you guys be doing on your channels, for those of you who are YouTubers and Instagrammers, and you guys be showing the haul, I take notes to see what each and every one of the sewists in the sewing community likes. So I'm going to share the top 24 simplicity patterns with you in this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. But you know what to do. Go get you a quick snack, something to drink, and grab your notebooks while you are here, because it could be some patterns that you overlook. So let's go ahead and get into the first pattern. Now I'm going to break these down between, I think it was early spring, summer, and then your early fall, winter time. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the first pattern. Now I have my notes and I'm just going to be jotting them down of why. Okay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first pattern. The first pattern, simplicity 9885. Now all of these are simplicity, so I'm just going to say the number. So 9885 is a cutout style dress. So it's a knit dress, to be 100% honest with you. Now I know that Carmen from Black Sewing Network, she did a live on this one, or it was part of one of the lives that she you know, basically hosted for Black Sewing Network. I have not seen any of the sewists do this pattern, but a lot of us picked this pattern up. I know I did. Now this pattern, simplicity 9885, this pattern for me would be something that I would make for a date night. I would also make this for like an anniversary. I would also make this for something sexy if I was going to one of the frock tails and it didn't have a theme. I would actually make this dress for that. But this is one of the ones that I know that many of us sewists picked up. Once again, it's 9885. Next pattern is 9886 and 9887. 9887 being the woman's size, 9886 being the missus size. Now this is a color block dress. And to be honest with you, this was actually a dress I was supposed to sew up doing my red and pink board. I was going to do it in like this muted pink, a dark pink, and then a white in the middle, or a bright pink, a red, and a white. I had ideas to do this pattern doing that time, but you know, things happen, and 2024 has been a year for your girl. I'm not going to share all of that right now, but it's been a year for sure. All right. So 9886 and 9887 is also on my list to sew in 2025. Just stay tuned for that whenever I get around to sewing it. All right, moving over to the next pattern. So the next pattern is Mimi G's pattern 9894. Now, this pattern, many sewists did it at the very top of the year when the early spring patterns dropped. This was one of the patterns that many people did a live sew along for. I know Carmen from Black Sewing Network did this pattern. I know D from Patterns by D Design did this pattern. I know C from We See Style. She did this pattern and made a 2-piece set. There were other sewists in the sewing community on Instagram that also did this pattern as well. But yes, this was one of the patterns that a lot of us sewists went ham on when we seen the drop for the early springs. But once again, this pattern is 9894. Moving over to the next pattern. Next pattern is 9897. And this is an oversized pattern. Both Mimi G and her husband, Norris Donta Ford, or I should say Norris and his wifey, Mimi. Okay, I'm just joking. But Mimi G from Mimi G Style, all right? And they have this oversized pattern, 9897. I know Carmen from Black Sewing Network. She did a live sew where she did kind of like a cut up of some shirts, and then she pasted them together and make it, it's super oversized, but she used fabric and then made a quick design. It was super cute. You have to go to her channel in order to see that as well. You could go to CAG Reinvented, or you could go to Instagram and see that on her channel. But once again, it's 9897. Moving over to the next pattern. Next pattern is 9917. Now I think this pattern actually came out in the springtime. So now we're getting into the spring pattern. The other patterns were early spring patterns. So this is the first one in the spring collection. And this is Mimi G's pattern 9917. Now my girl C from We See Style, she did this for her brother's wedding. And she talked about how every Mimi G pattern that she have sewn have failed her. Now, I will say that Mimi G patterns are normally good. I haven't tried this pattern, so I can't speak to, you know, anything that she has experienced with this pattern, but it is on my list to sew. Hopefully coming up in the new year in 2025, we'll see about that. But this is a cute pattern, and I feel that this pattern is super cute, and she rocked the hell out of that dress. But once again, it's 9917. Moving over to the next pattern. Next pattern is 9926. Now this pattern have been on the top of my list since it dropped in the spring. And I love the pants, but I also love the cape as well. So of course, this is gonna definitely be back on my list to sew once again. But this pattern, once again, it's a pair of pants and it's super wide leg. And y'all know I love a good wide leg. But once again, it's 9926. Moving over to the next pattern. Next pattern is 9927. It is a corset as well as pants. And many of the sewists picked this pattern up strictly for the corset, not necessarily the pants, but it was strictly for the corset. I have seen many of the sewists make this pattern up as well during the spring into the summertime. But once again, I found this pattern to be one of the top 24 patterns that many of the sewists picked up in the sewing community. Once again, this pattern is 9927. Moving over to the next pattern. And the last spring pattern of 2024 that us sewists picked up is of course Mimi G, and of course Brittany J. Jones is on the pattern as well. It's 9929. Now this pattern is like a relaxed fitted jumpsuit style, not jumpsuit, but two-piece cord set style pattern. And I know Martika from Martika J made this pattern, which prompted my daughter to ask me to buy the pattern for her. I also know that Tamika from So Serene Tamika, she made this pattern as well. There have been many sewists on this pattern. I haven't sewn it yet, but we need to change that real quick, okay? But once again, this pattern is 9929. Moving over to, now we're getting into the summer pattern, starting with yet another Mimi G pattern, which is 9945. So 9945 is a cutout pattern. And even though I'm not a big fan of cutouts, I like this jumpsuit slash dress pattern with the cutouts on the side and there's a cutout in the back. This pattern, I haven't seen anyone make this pattern up just yet, but I can see a lot of the sewists picked it up. Now, just to be honest, the summer patterns kind of dropped a little late, but the fall and winter patterns dropped hella early. Like, the winter patterns dropped in like September. The fall patterns dropped in like August. But those summer patterns dropped in like July. Summer starts June 20th. So releasing the patterns a little late doesn't give us sewists enough time to sew it. So maybe we need those patterns 3 months ahead of time so we're able to sew it. I'm just saying. Write the people who actually makes the pattern. Let's move over to the next pattern, also another Mimi G Patterns, which is 9946. And 9946 is a Mrs. dress. Of course, she has like the peekaboo at the front area, which I find to be super sexy. I haven't made this pattern, but I want to. But once again, it's Mimi G pattern, a dress, 9946. Moving over to the next pattern. Next pattern is 9950, which is a Mrs. dress with different sleeves variation. Now I know Brittany from Brittany J. Jones. She did this pattern for the Atlanta Frocktail hosted by my girl Aronica from Needle and the Bell, or Aronica B. Cole here on YouTube. It's Aronica B. Cole. And that dress that she sewed was super cute for Atlanta Frocktail. Atlanta Frocktail will be going on again in 2025. Stay tuned for Aronica's channel, Aronica B. Cole. I'll link to it in the description box below. So you're able to go to her channel and subscribe if you have not done so already to her channel, where she will be sharing all the Atlanta Frocktail stuff when that time comes in 2025. Let's move over to the next pattern, another summer pattern. So the next pattern is 9952, which is kind of like a shirt or shack it pattern. Now this pattern, Brittany J. Jones did a kind of like a release drop video, and this pattern was in that video. And she stated that this pattern is like 5 pattern pieces or less. So I'm just going to say, like, it definitely needs to be at the top of your list for 2025 if you did not get this pattern. And if you have not sewn it, make sure you put this on your list for 2025. You're welcome. All right, let's go ahead and get into the next pattern. Next pattern is 9954, which is a skirt. But hear me out. So originally, I did not pick up this pattern because I was like, a balloon skirt? What the hell? Yeah, I didn't pick this pattern up until, and I'm saying until, my girl Diana from 26 by Diana, part of the hackathon. So we were both ambassadors for the pattern hackathon back in July of 2024. And when I say that she hacked the hell out of her pattern, her and Shells from Shells Create, they hacked the hell out of the pattern, and you wouldn't have thought that Diana took the pattern that she did. I forgot the pattern number, just to be honest, but pretty much she did this pattern at the bottom. She made like a cargo style dress, and it was fabulous. Okay, so definitely check out what she created. Go over to her Instagram channel, and you can definitely see the cargo style dress that she made that looks similar to this pattern. All right, without even using this pattern. She actually used a McCall's pattern and hacked the hell out of it. Okay, it doesn't even look like the pattern, but you can use any base pattern and create whatever it is that you want to create. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the last pattern. Actually, there's 2 more patterns left in the summer collection. Let's get into the next pattern. So the next pattern is a pair of pants, and the pattern is 9955. And this pattern right here is a pair of shorts and a pair of pants. Now, you guys know I want to sew this pattern. And all I'm going to say is, like, it's going to be on my to-sew list. Okay, so you may be seeing it pretty soon coming up on the channel. We'll see. But you guys know I have a long running list of things I want to sew. It's just not enough time in my day to sew each and every one of these patterns. So I try to pick and choose which will suit my wardrobe. But once again, this pattern is 9955. Let's move over to the last pattern in the summer collection. So the last pattern in the summer collection is 9958, which is a cord set. You have a top and a skirt. Now me, I like the top, but the skirt, I feel like I have so many patterns that's similar to this pattern. So I didn't skip out on the pattern. I actually purchased this pattern as well. And I feel like this pattern would be a really cute pattern, especially the top, to put over some jeans or something like that next year in the spring or even in the summer. But once again, it's 9958. Now let's go ahead and move into the fall patterns because they did not have any early fall patterns. They jumped from summer to fall. Let's get into the fall patterns now. So during the fall time, I guess Simplicity decided to run out of numbers. So during the fall, they decided to go with the numbers in 3000. Okay. So the first pattern I'm going to tell you is 3002. Now this is a button down shirt. And when this pattern came out, I was like, yes, 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 yes. I need this pattern in my life. Not like I don't have any other button down shirts, but this one was definitely calling my name. So that's one of the patterns that I definitely picked up. And I know a lot of the sewers who are working like a 9-to-5 or whatnot, they picked this pattern up too and was like, I need this for my work wardrobe. So once again, this pattern is 3002. Let's move over to the next pattern. The next pattern is 3007. And this pattern is a coat pattern. And the reason why I feel like a lot of sewists pick this pattern up is simply because this coat is versatile, okay? Like, it's a puffer style jacket. What can I say, okay? And I feel like you definitely need this in your wardrobe if you are in a colder climate, unlike mine. But this is 3007. Let's move over to the next pattern. Next pattern is 3008. And if I remember correctly, this pattern is a no notion pattern outside of I think some binding or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. So do not quote me on that. But this pattern, definitely super, super cute. Mini Sew sewed it up, and you guys know your girl gotcha covered, okay? But once again, this is 3008. Let's move over to the next pattern. Next pattern is Mimi G's pattern, which is a complete fall wardrobe. It is 3010. You have the top, you have the cardigan, and you have the skirt all sewn in a knit. So therefore, you already know. Just do the whole entire pattern and you'll be good to go. Once again, this is 3010. I don't remember who already sold this pattern up, but they sold the pattern up immediately when it dropped, okay? So let's get into the next pattern. Next pattern, another Mimi G pattern, which is 3011, which is a jumpsuit. Now this jumpsuit reminds me of the Vicky Sews Bailey jumpsuit that came out this year in 2024. But this one is super cute. I picked it up. I haven't sewn it. I haven't even looked to see if anyone's sewn it up yet. But yeah, I think this one is super, super cute. But once again, it's 3011. Let's move over to the next pattern. Next pattern is 3012. And this is the last one in the fall. So 3012, this pattern right here, I just feel like this would be a super staple unisex hoodie that you could put in your wardrobe for the fall time, for the winter time. It would be super cute to put in your wardrobe. I like the cutouts that they have on View B, but I also like View A as well. So you could do either one or even both in your wardrobe for fall and winter time. But once again, it's 3012. Now that I talked about the fall, let's go ahead and get into the last couple of ones that we have. 3 more left for the winter time. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. So the first pattern, 3032. Listen, y'all know I am a sucker for a button down shirt, but that bow baby and those sleeves, yes baby, you guys already know. 3032 was definitely one that us sewers definitely wanted to pick up, okay? Not because of the button, it's a button down, yes. For me, yes, that is a reason, but the pussy bow blouse, the cuffs, I mean, like the sleeves reminds me of McCall 7838, which I talked about that in the drop video. I'll put it up here if you did not see that video of the winter pattern drop. And why I found a lot of these patterns to be like, okay, it is what it is, you know, but definitely always check out my drop release videos because I drop gems and I literally save you guys some coins of not buying the pattern, either hacking 1 or 2 elements of a different pattern or telling you what the pattern reminds me of so you could save you some coins as well. We all about saving money over here, all right? Let's go ahead and get into the next pattern. Next pattern, the cape, and it's 3033, and this cape is essential to your fall winter wardrobe. So I feel like this cape could definitely be a staple if you use the right fabric for it, all right? But once again, it's 3033. And let's go ahead and move over to the last pattern, part of the winter 2024 patterns, and we'll close out the top 24 patterns of simplicity that I feel like were golden for, you know, us sewers in 2024. Let's talk about it. So the last pattern is, of course, the color block cord set, and that pattern is 3035. Listen, as soon as I seen this pattern, I was like, yes, I need to get this pattern. Amazing. And I believe the top and the skirt, no matter which view you do, I think the top was like 7 pattern pieces, but the skirt was like 5 pattern pieces. So it should come together quickly as well. Well, those are all 24 patterns that I find to be the top 24 patterns that Simplicity dropped for 2024. Let me know in the comment section below, which ones did you overlook? If you're going to be picking up any of these, if you have all of these as well. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for my next video as I share with you 24 more patterns that are macaws that a sewer has picked up in 2024. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, keep sewing.